Welcome to season 2.
Season 2?
Season 2.
Let's go,
of
baby.
The Glory Boys podcast.
I'm ready for it.
I'm one of your hosts, Austin.
And I'm Darren.
And we got some stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we do. Got some catching up to do.
Yeah.
Catch us up, Austin. What have we been up to?
I don't even remember the last time we recorded, so it's hard to tell.
Yeah, so we had to kind of take a little hiatus, and we were trying to restructure and think about, how to add the most value to. It's kind of pointless if we just sit down, record a bunch of stuff, and just talk about nonsense. We hope that's our goal here, is to bring value to you. And so we are now a couple months we haven't posted.
Yep.
And we're just coming back stronger than ever. Super excited to be back. We really love doing the podcast, but right now we don't have sponsors. We don't have people that really pay to view this. We just post it out for free, which is totally awesome. But when you're running a growing company and you have employees, it gets very, very daunting at times. And the podcast becomes less fun. It just becomes like another thing. And we really want to get back to the place where it's fun for us to do.
Yeah, so a couple changes with season 2 of the Glory Boys podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1, we will be recording these weekly. Later on in this episode, we'll discuss a new kind of partnership relationship that we have been growing, really working on efficiency and processes and just trying to get our company to a place where we are efficient. Because if you don't already know this, all of our employees, really our entire team is people that know each other, have served together at church, have been friends outside of the work environment.
Mm-hmm.
And so that can make it a little interesting. It's an interesting dynamic to navigate of how to manage people that are also your friends.
Right.
And so with that, things can become very inefficient.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we found ourselves, was where we just as a whole had a lot of wasted time during the week. And so we're really working to fix that. But all of that said, we'll be recording these podcasts weekly.
Yeah.
Starting now, really in an effort to build a discipline, consistency with our podcast, with you guys, but also to be able to provide you the most relevant, up-to-date content, where we're not batch recording 4 or 5 episodes at a time and then putting out episodes 5 weeks after we recorded them.
Right.
But really every single week will be something that's recorded that week. And so really our goal with that is to not only bring you guys a more consistent podcast show, but also give you guys the most relevant information and bring you guys along in the journey as it's happening, rather than after the fact. We can kind of catch you up.
Yeah. And so another big focus for us is that we are going to lean into the idea of we're helping creatives build wealth. Austin and I started this company 4.5 years ago at the time of this podcast, and we have grown every single year. We've grown in our employees and the people that we've hired on, and we've also grown financially. We're not a 7-figure business yet, but we're on track to be that sooner than later. And so it's an exciting time, but it's also a grind. And so we just know that we can add value to you guys. If you're starting a creative business of photography, videography, you're a DP, you're a director, whatever you want to do, whatever your passion point is in being creative, we just really want to help you guys jump some of the hurdles that we've already faced and allow you guys an easier road to success.
Yeah, and along with what Darren's saying, if you guys have any questions, we love having conversations. We don't always have the time to, but we love when we're able to answer questions. Feel free to hit us up, DM us on Instagram at gloryvisuals, shoot us an email, hello@gloryvisuals.com. Let us know what you're wondering, or even better yet, go to our website at gloryvisuals.com/podcast. And there's actually a form submission tool built into the website where you can go and enter basically what podcast topic do you want to see us cover.
Yeah.
I think some of the most difficult things about hosting a podcast like this is a lot of the times we're wondering, what do we have to talk about that is going to provide value to our listeners?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that we could talk about, but we want to know what you guys want to know, because it's been a few years since we've figured some of these things out.
Yeah.
A lot of things we're still figuring out daily, and those things we will share with you as we go. But if you have specific questions, or you're trying to move to the next level, or you're really just wondering what you should do, hit us up, send us a question, or go to the website if you have a podcast topic idea. We would love to see those ideas, because that will give us a good idea of what do our listeners need to know.
Yep. And we'll drop a link in the description on podcast platforms and YouTube. And so definitely click that and submit your form because we would love to hear from you. Another thing too is we spend a lot of money every month on coaching, mentoring, and we know that sometimes starting a business, it's very tight financially. And so right now we get mentored by a really successful director in LA. And we jump on a phone call with him once a month, twice a month, sometimes, just whatever is needed. And we are always learning and growing. We also just hired, for the first time ever, a coach that I never really thought about hiring.
Yeah.
We're learning about time blocking, being more efficient, because time is money. I mean, you hear that all the time. You hear it on TikTok. You hear it on every social platform, every business guru on Instagram. But I really firmly believe we can't get time back. And so as long as we can be faithful and be most efficient with the time that we have now, that it will build a bigger future for our company.
Yeah, that's great. I couldn't stop thinking about, and I'm an hour past pay.
And I'm an hour past pay. It was actually
time is money. I'm an hour past pay.
It was Lil Wayne's birthday recently. I think like last
40th,
week.
right?
Yeah, his 40th birthday.
Sick.
Which is crazy. It feels like he's like 60 because I've been listening to him since I was like 12 or 13. And he started the game at like age 11. So he was killing it. So, I mean, he's been rapping, performing for like almost 30 years.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. That is nuts. Wow.
Yeah.
And he's still got plenty of time because weed doesn't really kill anyone.
Yeah.
He's a little slow now, but bro, he's been
That's not from the weed though. That's from all the lean.
That is from all the lean. Yeah.
Yeah.
He has a podcast too. I actually just found that out.
Nice.
With DJ Khaled and Rick Ross and Wiz Khalifa, I think.
Sick.
Yeah, it's pretty rad.
I bet that's a really
He's also been
valuable informational podcast.
He's also been skateboarding a lot.
Yeah, he's actually getting decent, isn't
he can like land tricks. It's really bizarre because when he first started skating, I'm like, yo, this is such a gimmick. He started a skate company called Truck Fit. It's super not my vibe, but he's skating and he's faithful and he's growing.
Yep.
Not that you guys care about
no,
that.
This podcast is not about Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
But that's just
I will pass pay.
I couldn't get that out of my head. But last thing before we really dive into the meat of this episode, this is a pretty cool product that I'm talking into right now. So this is actually the new Logitech Blue Sona. The Logitech Blue Sona is essentially, it's a new microphone.
Yep.
By Blue Microphones, as some of you may know, the Blue Yeti or the Blue Snowball, really great mics. They just released the Blue Sona, which essentially is an SM7B with a cloud lifter built in. So for those of you who don't know what that is, the SM7B is the microphone that we've always used for our podcast. They're incredible. Mm-hmm. However, they require an external mic booster in between your mic and your soundboard.
Yep.
Because they just need a lot of boost, I guess. I don't really understand the mathematics or the physics behind it, but they're not a very sensitive mic. So you have to talk right into them from up close, and you really have to have a mic booster to be able to utilize them fully.
Right.
So when we bought these mics, they were like $399 a piece for the mics, and then the mic booster for a 4-channel was $699. The Blue Sona right now at release is $350. And essentially the concept is it takes the SM7B and what makes that such a great vocal mic for streaming, podcasting, singing, you name it, and it adds the mic booster within. So it actually has essentially a cloud lifter built into it. So right now I'm running this Blue Sona directly into this board, and I actually had to turn the board gain down because it was too hot at its standard levels. Whereas this mic, the SM7B, we're running into a cloud lifter, which is supposed to give it plus 25 dB of boost.
Right.
And it still has to be set at the default volume of the board to be loud enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll, I guess if you're listening to this, you can tell, how it sounds from just like talking into it and hearing Darren talking to that one.
Yeah.
It sounds incredible.
Yeah. We love it. We'll probably jump on and buy another one for me.
For sure.
Cause he gets,
we could
cool
buy
stuff.
2 in black cause
white's
this
cool
one's
too.
white. Yeah.
It's cool.
That's
but
fine.
There's a cool story about that, Mike. You want to tell us about it?
Yeah. So we were actually blessed to acquire this mic through a shoot that we got to do with Logitech, and that was really, really cool. That was the first time we'd been approached. We actually got approached by an agency that represents content creators, and the agency is partnering up with Logitech with one of their content creators and releasing a couple new products, the Blue Sona and the a light essentially for streaming. And after the shoot, you know, we took the products home to the studio to do some shooting with them in our studio. And we never really had to give them back. And so that was really cool. So we're like, hey, might as well test it out, see how it sounds. And honestly, from just talking into the board and hearing myself, it sounds incredible. Doing the shoot with the talent, they talked into the mic for the entire shoot. So we get to test it out and see how it sounds. And I'm super impressed, especially at this price point, to have something that's just plug and play. You don't have to have an external thing that you need to plug into, another connection, something else that's pretty expensive, even for a single channel one of the Cloud Lifter, I think is $200. So you're talking a difference of $600 for the SM7B to really use it properly versus $350 on the Logitech Blue Sona.
No brainer.
In my opinion, this one sounds maybe even a little better. For
all of you gamers and streamers out there, we actually got to shoot this product, a couple products with a gamer and a streamer, a YouTube streamer named Dr. Lupo. He is one of the biggest gamers out there and streamers, and he was a super treat to shoot with, and it was a lot of fun. And it was just cool working with a reputable brand that's internationally known and really big in the community. And we've been using their products. I mean, growing up, I had Logitech speakers and Logitech mouses and keyboards and all of that stuff. And it's just cool that we started a company that someone from LA that represents these brands and these creators that reached out to us just because of our website and the work that they saw, say, hey, we want to work with you. It was an honor. They really allowed us to be free in the creative process. They really trusted us. And so it was a ton of fun. We actually shot some of the content in this very room in our podcast studio. We shot in our psych wall studio and just had a lot of fun using haze. And we had to even set this mic up on a stand and like twist it to get like that cool, like mechanical look. We just, did the best with what we had. And the product video turned out awesome, and they were very happy with it. Yeah, and another piece of gear that really helped with that shoot was the Rhino Arc that we just purchased. Oh, yeah. So that's really the only gear purchase we've made since the last time I think we talked, and we kind of caught you guys up to speed on what we were doing. But the Rhino Arc is super sick. What is it? It's a motorized 3-axis slider system. So it has a motorized head that basically controls everything. Then it has a slider motor, and it can do pan, tilt, rotation, as well as slider. So it's super cool. You can program your move, and it will just repeat that move on loop indefinitely if you want it to. And there's an app that you can use to set different keyframes and toggle between them. But super cool for shooting product shots and really just interviews, anything. We've tried to really incorporate it on a lot of stuff. We're going to be using it for a music video here coming up. And so that's been super cool. But and all of the gear that we use will be in all of the descriptions, the links to them, so you can check them out, purchase them if you'd like. And we spend a lot of time testing out gear. We actually bought 3 sliders until we found the one that we liked. Some of them are clunky, some of them are cheaper. There's kind of middle grade, which we're always down to try the middleman stuff that's like a little less expensive, but not like quite industry standard. And finding those products that are really awesome but affordable for you guys, for us, is one of our passions. And so, definitely check out all the stuff below and in the description and see what we use. The TLDR on sliders, unfortunately, if you want one that's motorized and can reproduce movements, you have to spend the money. Yeah. That's kind of what I learned. Honestly, a lot of our products they're not the brand name. They're the secondary choice, a little bit cheaper. And for the most part, they've performed just as well for us. This is one instance where I can honestly say, like, we spent $1,500 on a slider and it was trash. Yeah. And we had to spend $3,500 on the Rhino before we actually so we spent like $350 on a really cheap one. It was just terrible. I hated it. Spent $1,500 on what we thought was like, okay, this is the middle ground, like kind of sleeper brand. And it was just awful, unusable. We couldn't use most of the shots that we took with it. Man, super slow. Tried to stabilize it. It was kind of shaky. Yeah. There was like a weird bump in the middle of the slider. It's really interesting. But the Rhino has been really, really awesome so far. Incredibly smooth and really no issues. So
Yeah,
which
for what
is
it's
a little
worth.
bit on the higher end. I forgot it was 3,500.
Yeah,
So-
unfortunately, you really have that or the Edelkrone system, which I
is-
watched a lot of reviews between the two, and I don't know which one's better at this point because I've heard different people say both are better. So I think it really is personal preference.
Totally.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for gear upgrades, gear investments.
Yep.
And Darren, catch us up on Glory Gang.
Yes. So some of you may know that we launched a clothing company called Glory Gang in May of this year. And we're just super excited about it. Our first drop is still live and we're selling, to all kinds of different people. It's been a big journey. It's not our first primary thing, but launching a company, it needs attention. And so we've been doing all kinds of shoots. We first off started doing pop-ups at this thing called Skate Fest here in Omaha, Nebraska. And so we really dove into like the skate culture and skate community of Omaha, Nebraska. And we've reached skaters outside of Omaha. And we actually sponsored 4 people. So we have 4 skate influencers that are now part of the brand and a part of the family. And it's super exciting. We had a couple of them come in a couple weeks ago. And we shot some really cool stuff with them skating, obviously, but wearing our stuff. And then we shot their stories and just got to know them and got to know what their upbringing was and why they skate and why they love skating, why they love our brand, why they love wearing it. And it was really, really fun. It just kind of continued to throw fuel on the fire of why we do it. And it seems like it's hitting off really well. People seem to be really loving the stuff. And we're super excited because now we are currently working on doing a fall launch, a later fall launch for drop 2. And we have like hoodies coming and crossbodies and just all kinds of different accessories. And we're really, really excited because we're getting feedback from you guys and we're able to take that into account and then put out things that you guys really want. And so super, super pumped about that. So definitely be on the lookout for more to come. And if you want any more information or want to see drop 1, go to glorygang.shop.
So like you mentioned, Glory Gang is not our full-time gig, clearly.
Right.
Glory Visuals is. And so that kind of ties in with the topic of today's episode, just talking about efficiency and time management.
Mm-hmm.
And we really reached a point here recently, just being completely vulnerable with you guys, like I kind of alluded to in the intro, where we just were wasting a ton of time and ultimately just not being the best stewards of the time that we were given.
Yeah.
And that included Glory Gang. Honestly, it really is tough to build in time to work on a side passion project when there's 15 projects that need edited, need sent out to clients. There's 3 employees that need our time and attention. And so we really reached a point where we're like, okay, we need to do something. We need to get someone's perspective. Like it's just not, it's not running as a well-oiled machine the way that it needs to be for us to become a 7-figure company. And that also would affect things in Glory Gang too, where we're not giving it the time that it needs and deserves. And ultimately we have the time. There's no excuse of like, well, I just don't have time. Well, I have the time. It's just, I'm not being the best steward with my time. And so we actually made a decision very recently, and we'll walk you guys through this process and what's working and what's not. But we essentially hired a coach. Her name's Beth, and she's awesome. And what she does is she comes in to understand the functions of your business, the team dynamic, how you're using your time and how you operate. And then we'll basically make recommendations on how to make things more efficient, how to better delegate things, and really how to better lead your organization. And so her company is called Conquer Your Week. So if any of you guys are interested in hitting her up, she's, like I said, she's super friendly, really easy to work with. And she's done a great job so far, I think, of learning about our business, how we work, and not trying to just apply her template of this is how you make your business more efficient, but really understanding what we need and what our biggest issues are and really knocking those out first and then going down the list from there.
Yeah, I think there's a big value in having somebody from the outside of your company or your organization, and they can look at it as such a different perspective. She didn't know much about us. We actually got connected with her through our other business partner in Glory Gang, and he had used her in a ton of companies here in Omaha and beyond have used her and seen massive success and great success stories. But the beautiful thing is that she had no idea really what we did or how we did it. And so we had an introduction meeting and we were able to just share our struggles, our tension points, the rocks, the things that got in the way, the blocks. I mean, just every detail. And then she took all of that and then really took every thought that we had and put it on paper in a really beautiful outline. And this week is the first week that we're actually kind of test driving the structure. And then we're going to meet with her once every week on Monday to then go over what worked, what didn't, until we refine it. And then whenever we feel like we graduate out of needing her, we'll just kind of move forward. But we found that it was very essential to have someone come in and help Austin and I get our thoughts together. We live very hectic, busy lives, and there's a lot of need. Like Austin said, we have employees, we have wives, he has 2 kids. There's a lot of things going on in our lives. I built a house, you sold a house, you're about to move into your new house because you just purchased a home. And just a lot of things, like life is happening, but we can't let life conquer us. We have to conquer life. And so if we don't tell our time where to go, it's just going to get lost. And so we thought it was necessary to hire her on, and we're more than happy and super excited to continue to get better. Again, we always want to get better. I think that that's the pivotal thing in a leader, is that you're never there. You've never arrived. And so we're very aware of our weaknesses and we're very aware of our strengths, but I'm the first to say, and Austin to say, that, hey, I'm not good at this. Let's get some professional in here, really helping us out be more effective.
Yeah, I think a lot of us as creatives and creative business owners can get caught in this trap of there's just not enough time.
Yeah.
Or where I've found myself is I need to be here 60 hours a week to move this thing forward.
Right.
And I've just learned, and I'm learning through this process, that that's not true. That if I actually just thought through the hours that I'm actually here in the office, that I could probably get more done in 30 hours a week with a targeted plan and an outline of what I should be doing at what time than I could in 60 hours a week of just like, there's so much to do, I need to do something, or not doing anything because it's just so overwhelming.
Yeah, that's me.
And so yeah, that's me too. And so the first thing that we're having her help us with is really, what should our week look like?
Yeah.
One thing, and this could be targeted more towards people who are, a little bit further in their journey, but I think this applies to the person who's brand new too, because if it's just you, how are you managing your time?
Yeah.
Are you leaving yourself available all day for clients to email and call you? Or are you consolidating your email time for 1 hour a day, where that way you can edit for the other 8 hours of that day and not get pulled away by a million things? And so things like that are things we're implementing, things like office hours, where if it's not during the office hours that we've set, which right now are 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, that's the only time that you're really able to ask questions, collaborate with one another. The rest of the time is work time.
Yeah.
Headphones on, grinding through edits.
Yep.
And that's, I feel like, already helped. We're still implementing it. This is really our first week of testing it.
Yeah.
There are a lot of times where someone will have a question or need help with something, or really a lot of the times it's just minor questions, but because it's easier to ask in the moment, then it pulls away from, if I'm editing something or trying to work on a system. And it really takes 10, 15 minutes for a lot of people to get back into what they were doing if they get pulled away from it.
Right.
So that's just one example, setting office hours where, hey, if you have a question, write it down at 11 o'clock. We'll get to all of your questions, make ourselves available to you.
Yeah.
And really a secondary goal of that is so that when we are with our employees, giving them our time, that we're 100% there.
Yes.
We've already blocked out the time to take care of the other things that we're thinking about that are running around in our brain, so that when we're with them, we can actually give them the full attention that they need.
Yeah. And obviously this is probably applies more so in office culture. For us, we just want to operate as a team in the office, because we really love having an office culture. Having, we have a coffee maker and we have fun and we watch and review things together and we collaborate, and you can do all of that remotely, but we just want to build a company that we're together. We're having fun together. We're growing together. We're learning together. And I love that. And so this is going to allow us, again, to be focused when we need to be focused, to be have fun when we need to have fun, to have conversations and questions when we need to have those. And it just, it streamlines everything so that we're all not stressed. Another really beautiful thing that I love about this process is that it's very goal driven. So I believe that everybody is somewhat goal driven. Whether that's little tasks that you can kind of check off of a box, or if it's, hey, I need this project done by the end of the day, like you have something to work towards. And I think for people, they're motivated by that. They're like, okay, I have a goal. I'm going to try to knock this whole project out in one day. And sometimes we don't hit that goal, but that's okay. We have grace for that. But if we don't have goals, we don't set goals, we're setting ourselves up for failure. And so we've learned now, even myself is like, I know what I want to do today and get done. And if I have something that I can achieve and I can knock that off, I can leave work today feeling like I won, rather than, oh, well, we still have 13 more projects left. I'm going to feel stressed out. I feel like I lost. You're never going to feel like you're winning. So that's not something healthy to build. Like, there's nothing to build on that. There's this feeling or the sense of losing all of the time. And that gets, after 4.5 years of feeling like you're losing money, you're losing time, you're losing, whatever. Your employees feel that, we feel that, and it's just not a healthy culture that we want to build. And so it took us 4.5 years, and that's why we're here sharing with you, like, don't wait 4.5 years to figure that out. As you grow your organization, I'm assuming everybody that starts something, they want it to grow. You don't just start to stay the same. Because we really do believe that God takes care of his kids, and he wants to pour blessing and open up heaven over your business. And are you being faithful with what he's put in your hand? Because I do believe that he wants to give you more, to bring you more clients, to bring you more finances and resources and connections. But if you're not being faithful with the time that you have and the things that you have right now, I feel like you'll just be the same. And I don't really feel like that's that motivating or exciting.
Yeah, no. And for a long time, like you said, 4.5 years, like, we didn't set those goals.
Yeah.
It was kind of just, hey, keep working on what you're working on. And we hope that things are getting done. And even for ourselves, a lot of the times, like, we didn't know what to do sometimes because there's no one telling us what to do.
Yeah.
We were just talking about this the other day of like, man, sometimes I wish I had someone to just tell me, here's what you're going to do today.
Right.
But that's not the seat that we chose. And that's ultimately kind of the burden of owning a company. You're not the employee of your company. And so if you don't have somebody to tell you what to do, you have to get your thoughts and things together and really manage your own time. So I think this does apply just as much to the solo operator as it does to the person who wants to build a team, wants to scale, hire employees and things like that.
Yeah.
Because it's, what are you doing with your time? And another thing I'm learning through this process is, like, there has to be room for things that you like.
Yeah.
We all have been there. It kind of ebbs and flows. We'll have the month where, we're shooting with Logitech and it's a really fun and refreshing and creatively energizing project.
Yep.
But then for the next 2 months, it's cutting together interviews and recruitment videos and things that they're great. I'd still, rather be doing that than anything else, but it's not the most exciting things.
Right.
And so when we sat down with Beth, one thing that she really helped us see is, like, as the owners, like, we have to be doing things that are going to continue to expand our vision, are going to continue to excite us and get us pumped about the direction that we're going. Because if we're just looking at what we have to do that week and only just burying our head in the tasks that sometimes aren't the most exciting, you can lose that. And then your employees feel that as well. And so she's really helping us build in times for things like dreaming about our vision and what do we want to do as a company? Do we want to create a course? That's something we've been talking about forever.
Yeah.
But you have to build time in to do that. If you just say, oh, I want to do a course someday, but you never actually put the time in your schedule to build it out and write out an outline and really take a step forward in it, it's never going to happen. And so
a wise man once said, don't let your dreams be dreams.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Was that you that said that?
Maybe.
Oh, it was the guy that works for Delta or Southwest.
Oh, nice.
The guy in all the Southwest photos in the tunnels. We always joke because Shia LaBeouf, this guy looks just like Shia LaBeouf. that's on like all of the Southwest posters as you walk into the airplane. And we've been flying a lot the last few months, so we've seen him a lot. But anyways, all that to say,
don't let your dreams be dreams.
Don't let your dreams be dreams. It's important to manage your time and to block things out. And so really what we did to kind of start that process with Beth is just thinking about what are all of the things that I want to put time toward.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like it's kind of like in marriage where you have to kind of just shift your priorities. Because ultimately, like the things that make us passionate are the things that are going to move our business forward, even if they're not a paying job. And so it can sometimes feel like, oh, it's not going to be worth it, or I don't have time for that. I can't prioritize that over paying clients. Now, don't get me wrong. Make sure you're hitting your deadlines. Your clients are happy. Like that is first priority.
Yep.
But as you're building out your ideal schedule, that's really what it is what do I desire most to do on a weekly basis? And so for me, those were things like putting dedicated time towards improving our systems, whether that be workflows where clients are getting emails, or whether that be implementing a training system, or whether that be like writing out, a preliminary course outline. But that's things like that for me. For you, like we had some built-in time for some things that really you should be doing and I shouldn't.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I love doing that I just don't do anymore. And I feel the weight of that all the time. I'm like, yeah, I'm helping, all of our editors get their stuff together, and I sit down and review things and help them cut things a little differently or give suggestions, but I'm not, creating fun social content. I love this podcast. I love YouTube. I love being able to add value to you guys, but we weren't doing it. And so I'm starting to feel the weight. I'm starting to get frustrated. Austin's like, it's not a massive passion of mine. So he's not, trying super hard to get me in this room to shoot a podcast, but I'm like, Austin, come on, let's shoot a podcast.
I'm trying to talk him out of it usually.
And it's like, and then I'm like, I got to a point where I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like, it doesn't make sense. Maybe we just shut it down, and we didn't put all this time and effort and money into this room and into this gear. And I mean, if you guys look on our YouTube channel, like we literally renovated this whole room to make it look like this. If you're on YouTube, you can see it, but you can see the time and effort. Like what this room used to look like was complete trash, but I want to start doing more of the things that I love. I'm not going to negate the things that need to, move the project across, get the payroll paid, and all of that, but we need to build time into the things that we love. And so now I get like, quote unquote, like Darren time, where I can go in and I can work on XYZ, where it's going to fill me up creatively, get me excited. We have this podcast scheduled on every Wednesday that we're going to shoot it. And then it airs on Friday, and it's going to be in our regiment, in our system. And that's going to help us create a flow. And it's just going to be a massive win.
Yeah.
Another thing I was thinking about as we were talking about time and just being a good steward, I feel like there's this thing, like this lack mindset that I want to touch on.
Yeah.
I would love to hear your perspective, because I've known you now for over 5 years and running a company with you for a while. It's really interesting, what your upbringing does, just kind of your thoughts about being a business owner, what your insecurities or thoughts about being a leader and leading people. There's just so much to it. What's something that you can encourage these guys with, and maybe even just touch on what like a lack mindset means? Because I really do believe that we're breaking free from some of that stuff. And I really do believe it's crucial in order to grow a company and in order to be efficient and have vision for more.
Yeah. So I think a lack mindset really just looks at something and says, here's why it can't happen. I think it relates to money primarily, but it also relates just as much to the time thing that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because I think honestly, I've lived in somewhat of a lack mindset for my time.
Sure.
Of there's never enough time to get everything done.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's not the case. You're just not, I'm not being a good steward of my time.
Right.
Having someone else to go through that with has been pivotal for me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I ever would have got there on my own.
Sure.
Because
that's a key right there.
It's been having you to, like, you and I together, I think, are just able to go further than either of us are on our own. And
totally.
That's, I think, a biblical principle.
Yeah.
Um, and so I don't know if that encourages the people that don't have a business partner,
Sure.
because honestly, like, I think that you need someone that's a little bit further along in that journey.
Yeah.
And not that you're like so much further along, but you're just a little bit further along, and you've been able to kind of just pull me. Even when we moved into this building, like that was just one example of many of like, I thought for a long time, like we could never move out of our office at My City HQ.
Yeah.
Because where's the money going to come from? That's another expense that we're adding.
Yep.
You know, we're we're not crushing it right now without any expenses. And so to add overhead and do all of that. And it's what I've learned through doing that with this, with my home, with multiple different things really over the past year, is that when I do just trust that God's going to provide, he does.
Yeah.
Every time.
Every time.
And so it's like seeing the reverse. It's just opposite perspectives. A lack mindset looks at this move that happened in November of last year, and like, we can't do that because we have enough money. But the prosperity mindset, or not necessarily, I hate that term.
Sure.
But
abundance.
But an abundance or a biblical mindset says there is more.
Yeah.
That if you're truly walking in what God has for your life, which I believe that we are, not fully and perfectly by any stretch of the imagination, but doing our best to pursue what we feel like God's called us to, that God will provide, that we can take a step of faith. If we feel like God's on that, why would he let us down?
Yeah.
And so we very much felt that with that, hey, this is something that God's calling us to do.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if it were just me, again, I don't know if that would have been as easy of a decision, but when we're unanimous on something, it makes it really easy to move forward.
Yeah.
And then on the back end of that, just seeing God's faithfulness every single time.
Something that was really encouraging. This journey can become really long and feel really daunting, like I said earlier, but I was in kind of a negative mindset maybe a few weeks ago or maybe a month ago. And I bumped into somebody randomly, and it was at like a coffee shop in this hotel, and we were celebrating my wife's birthday. And this guy that Austin and I both know just randomly was there, and he goes, "Hey man, it's awesome to see you. Like, I've been following you guys on social media. You guys are killing it. Like, wow, like how does it feel?" This is the thing that he said that like blew my mind. How does it feel to be the most premium video production company in Omaha? Like premier, like he was like this high esteem, like praise over our company. And I'm like, man, I feel like we suck. I feel like I suck. But it was just that really nice little like reminder of like, we are making a massive difference in this city. We are adding so much value to this city, whether we're getting the validation or not. But sometimes that's how God works, is like you can be discouraged or your head's down or you're bummed out about whatever. And just a little reminder like that can just remind you, kind of take the scales off your eyes and be like, no, like we are killing it. Is it tough right now? Sure. Is money tight in your company? Maybe. Or are you trying to hire and you can't find the right person? I mean, there's all kinds of issues and hurdles, but like things are going really well, and like we are super blessed. And I think that's super powerful, and it allows you to kind of reframe your mindset a little bit. And like Austin was saying, surrounding yourself with people that see that in you is so crucial. I truly believe in show me your friends and I'll show you your future. I've seen that time and time again. I have friends from high school. They're the exact same that they've ever been when I used to hang out with them 15 years ago, but they're living the same lives because they're still spending the time with the same people at the same bar, with the same girl, with the same guys. And it's just that unfortunate thing where if you don't hang out and spend time with people that believe in you, that pull things out of you, because we all have blind spots. I have blind spots all the time. There's been crucial moments in my building my character over the last 7-10 years of people like, hey, you do this thing. Why do you do that? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I do that. That's gross. That reminds me of my past family member that did that. And I hated that about them, but now I'm doing it and it's really rude or it's really sarcastic or really frustrating. And you got to have people that will be real with you, you got to have people that are going to pull the best out of you, but also challenge you and refine you as you grow as a leader, as a business owner, as a person of influence, whatever that looks like. And so it's absolutely crucial that you have people in your world that believe in you and will pull the best out of you.
I would definitely encourage you to do whatever you have to do to find that.
Yeah.
For us, our community is our church family and our family. And they're awesome. You can definitely come hang out with us whenever you want.
Yeah.
But if you're not in Omaha or don't want to hang out with us, just make sure you have people in your life that believe that there's more for you, that believe the best in you, but also that are willing to tell you how it is and ultimately can reach down and help you go to the next level. Yeah.
It's crucial to be around people. We weren't made to do life alone. And so if you have to get plugged into some like community groups that are, doing things around town, jump on a Facebook group and find out when the next creative night or next styled shoot is, or if there's a business network in your city, I would strongly encourage you to start collaborating, start getting around people, start getting around better business owners. One of my mentors for a long time, and still I talk to him often, is a multimillionaire, and he owns a really massive company. And he didn't just start there. He started, young and sweeping floors, and now he's the CEO of the company. And so there's like a lot of different levels of that. And if you don't have that sphere of influence, reach out. There's all kinds of amazing people that want to help people. There's also just amazing resources online. There's amazing books. I think helping reframe your mindset is just going after really great books and reading great authors and people that care and pour their lives into these things. If you don't like to read, there's Audible. I listen to Audible all the time and listen to amazing books. There's a really good book called The Millionaire Mindset, and it just walks through just how millionaires think, and it made me think very differently about money and finances. And so I would strongly encourage you, find authors and people of influence that you really can believe in and follow. And I really do believe that it's a journey, but start somewhere.
And really, we fully believe that finding a community, getting a handle on your schedule, becoming more efficient, and ultimately a better steward of the time that you're given is going to make a huge difference in your business.
Yeah.
For us, anytime we've made even little tweaks, we've seen massive differences in our company. And so I'm really excited to continue to keep you guys posted as we go through this journey and as we really refine and lock in. And once we have, kind of the finalized weekly template that we're building, we'll definitely share that with you guys
for only $17.99.
Yeah,
just kidding.
No, we'll link it in a future episode of the podcast. So make sure that you hit the bell so you don't miss out. If you're on YouTube, follow us on Apple Podcasts. Is that a thing? You follow on Apple Podcasts?
Yeah, follow along.
Download. Do all the stuff.
Yeah, leave us a rating too. We love reading the ratings. They're super encouraging, whether it's a bad or a good rating. But we strongly encourage good ratings only.
Yep.
I think we're right now a 4.9.
Yeah.
So
there's like 1 4-star review, I think.
So, if you guys want to leave a rating, it helps us get better. And again, we do not think that we know everything. We're very much growing and learning in the journey along with you guys. We just, we hope that we can be a blessing and an encouragement to you guys.
Well, guys, that's all we have for you this week.
Yep.
We'll be back at it again with another brand new episode of the Glory Boys podcast.
Yeah.
But for now, I'm Austin.
And I'm Darren.
We love you guys, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Peace out, friends.